Good morning. How's everyone doing? Welcome. Make sure everything's looking all right. I think so. All right. Yeah, Eagles are good. How about them Giants, though? Giants, baby. All right. So, I will give a fair warning. I had not had any caffeine this morning, and I can't because I'm getting my blood taken today. I'm getting some blood work done, just the normal checkup. But that means that I am not caffeinated. So, this might be I'm gonna have to struggle through this one. But no, I feel good. But yeah, just want to make that clear. If I sound tired, that's why. Can't drink any caffeine this morning. Can't eat anything. Can't do nothing. So, yeah. G-Men 5-1. Yeah, yeah, a good game from the Bills too. Some good games, definitely. All right, so let's get started. Today is Monday, October 17th. We have some news this morning, which is sort of triggered some upside around 1 a.m. This was the British pound. I don't know if you guys saw that, but some positivity on the British pound, and that is sort of what's helping this market higher. So I'll show you that exact time frame. It was around 1 o'clock when the I think that's when the that session opens. I think that's like the British market open, or I don't know exactly what they call it. I know it's a Forex term, but that's the market open in the UK around 1 a.m. our time, Eastern time. So we got some positivity on the pound at that time, and that is what sort of triggered the NASDAQ, ES, everything sort of moving to the upside. How long does that hold? We'll have to see. We'll definitely watch out for that. And then also we have a few bank earnings this morning. So Bank of America reported. We had BNY. But BAC was the big one that reported, and they did pretty well, I believe, when I was first sort of looking at it. So some earnings, a little bit of positivity out of the UK with that British pound. So those are our sort of the morning things that came out. The London session, that's right, London session. Thank you, Dr. HJ. So yeah, London session opened, and we got some positivity out of the pound there. So let's go ahead and sort of dive into today. We have earnings season, which is starting this week. We have Netflix and Tesla reporting earnings, which should be very interesting. I'm very interested to see what happens this earnings season. This should be a pretty, this is one of the first earnings seasons that we have, or one of the first earnings on Tesla, in my opinion, that we have sort of came into it at the lows of the year. So usually, in previous years, we're used to seeing the stocks moving higher and higher into earnings. We're reporting at, sometimes we report earnings at all-time highs. Sometimes we report earnings at 52-week highs. Sometimes we report earnings after a big rally. But this time, Tesla, Netflix, they're going to be reporting earnings at pretty nice lows. So how does the market react? If you guys are familiar with earnings, it has a lot to do with expectations rather than the true number that comes out. So do expectations get dialed back coming into earnings? Do companies beat bad expectations, basically? So there's a lot that sort of plays into this. If you understand earnings, then you probably know what I'm talking about. It's all about the expectation, and it's all about the future look. So if Tesla comes out and beats a pretty crappy expected numbers, then maybe there's a possibility of some kind of knee-jerk reaction to the upside. So I'm keeping all those options open in my head. I'm not going to get blinded to one direction here, but we'll go ahead and take a look at some of that. So let's get started. Today's the 17th, futures economic earnings calendar. Let me go ahead and pull up that economic calendar because we should take a look at that. There's not much on it this week. I think this is a little bit of a lighter week for the economic side. So not much to worry about on the economic side this week. Yet last week was the big economic week, right? That was major. We're sort of past that, and now we're sort of digesting that move. So today, I really don't see anything that would move the market. Empire State Manufacturing Index, maybe at 8:30 today, but we'll keep an eye out and see if there's any type of volatility at 8:30. I don't expect that. Tuesday, tomorrow, nothing crazy. Home builders, some industrial production index, nothing crazy. I don't really see it there to really move the market much, especially after last week. Building permits, housing starts, beige book. Thursday are normal jobless claims, Philly Fed Manufacturing Index, existing home sales, maybe some movement off the home sales. And then Friday, index of common inflation expectations. I don't know if I've ever seen that. Index of common inflation expectations. I'm just going to assume it's another inflationary read, an expected inflationary read on Friday at noon. So nothing crazy here. No Feds, no Fed things, no Jerome Powell, no major inflationary readings like CPI, PPI. So this should be a relatively light week on the economic side. But now that we don't have much on the economic side, right, we have some earnings to watch out for. So that's the next thing to watch for. So let's go ahead and pull up that earnings calendar because that is definitely important here today. Let's pull that up and get a good look at what we need to anticipate here. So here's earnings. Let's zoom down. Here's this week. So today in the pre-market, right, we had Bank of America, Charles Schwab, BNY Mellon. So some banks, we'll see if there's any movement there, but keep an eye on that. I think BAC would probably be the one I'd watch. Not really sure of any of these. I don't think these are market moving at all. Tomorrow, pre-market, Goldman Sachs, J&J, Lockheed Martin. I think I would definitely watch that Goldman Sachs move. That will be very important to the financial sector. Tuesday, tomorrow after close, Netflix, United. Those are probably your big two Interactive Brokers. That's the broker I use, but that's not going to move the market. But Netflix will definitely affect it definitely affect probably the technology sector. So watch that Netflix move on tomorrow on Tuesday. We'll talk about it. Tomorrow or Wednesday. Nothing really in the pre-market. You got P&G. That's a big XLP name. That's big for the safety names. So keep an eye on that. Tesla. That's the big one on Wednesday. So Tesla's pretty major here, guys, right? So that's going to be something that the market is definitely watching this week. Thursday, nothing crazy. AT&T, American, Snap, CSX, nothing wild. Verizon, Amex. Those are some more I don't want to say Dow names. I guess you could say they're Dow names, but some more of those safety type names, sort of the dividend type stocks. So we'll see how those do. But the big tech names this week, Netflix, Tesla, right? So definitely be watching out for that today. Or not today, but this week. So that's that. All right, so British pound, I'll show you guys what I'm looking at there. I'll show you where that reaction came in and how this sort of correlated to the overall market. We'll take a few minutes on that, nothing major. Tesla, 205 demand. This is a level that I've been saying for 2 weeks now that I think Tesla needs to come back down into, and we got it. So we definitely got that Tesla pullback to 205. And I said, a few weeks ago, I said if Tesla comes down to 205, I would definitely be looking to buy shares, like buy more shares, get a little bit bullish on it down here. Into earnings, I'm not going to get crazy. I'll pick up a few shares at this Tesla level, but we'll see. I'm not going to go crazy here on Tesla, but this 205 level definitely looks interesting. Netflix into earnings, we'll take a look at that as well. Target, that flag we were talking about, guys. Target, you guys can see we went ahead and broke that 4-hour flag on Target. This is something I've been watching. We finally did it on Friday. Amazon 102 level. This is a big level that I'm watching on Amazon as well. Nvidia 115. And then energy, the XLE rejected that major level. And then the tickers that you guys want to look at today. So we'll look at Tesla, Netflix, the two big earning names. We'll look at that Target setup that I've been talking about. I'll probably bring up Costco there as well because Costco did the same thing. And then we'll take a look at a few other tech names that I'm watching, Amazon, Nvidia, and a few others. So let's go ahead and just jump right into this. So the first thing I want to show you, I just want to get this pound out of the way. I'm going to show you guys here. Here's the /6B. This is the British pound. Here's 1 a.m. our time, and you can see that push to the upside on the British pound. You guys know that the UK has been sort of, it's been in talks lately, right? There's a lot of concerns about the UK. We saw that market reaction to the downside last week. Was it last week, 2 weeks ago? But this British pound has definitely been in focus. So you can see 1 o'clock, we got that London session push on the pound. And then if we go to the NASDAQ, here's your 1 a.m. London session open push on the NASDAQ as well. So a little bit of correlation there off that British pound. That just wanted to show you guys that real quick. All right. All right. Let's go 1 hour. So really the main level for me is 10.8. It's 10.8. That looks to be like the level that we need to hold on to on the NASDAQ. That's where we held multiple times here, and we're trying to hold again this morning. We got a little below it on Friday, but Friday's move was just a disaster. I mean, it was just if you're trading Friday, I guess good luck. I mean, I hope you did okay. But Friday's move was just, this is just classic end of day Friday zombie, like just sort of grinding lower. You get a downside move, it pops right back. You get a downside move, it pops right back. You get a downside move. This is into end of day, so nothing you can do there. But the one thing that I noticed sort of late day Friday was you can see that demand at 10.8. You can see support came in. It started to reject it a little bit, right? You had support, rejection. But you can see we tried to get over it in the after hours, right? This is futures open last night, right? This is futures open at 6 a.m. Eastern time or 6 p.m. Eastern time. We pushed up in the futures open last night on Sunday and just sort of got stuck under this 10.8. So this 10.8, Friday was good in the morning. Let me rephrase that. Friday was good in the morning. I'm talking more like this area, right? I had a good day Friday too, actually. Let me rephrase that. Friday after 1 o'clock, right? That's the time where, it's time to walk away, right? But yeah, Friday morning was sick. Very nice. There was a lot of volatility there. But 10.8, you guys can see very cleanly rejected all in the futures area, right? You guys can see all there. And then we finally got above it, right? So this 10.8 to me looks to be an area to watch out for, right? This 10.8 area looks to be where this market needs to hold on to on the NASDAQ, unless if it doesn't want to see more downside. So that's the level I'm watching today, 10.8. We'll see if we pull back into it. That I think is a big NASDAQ level. On the upside, it's a disaster. It really is a disaster. I mean, you got like this 10,970, 11,000 high here, right? You have some previous day highs. Like this is your Wednesday high. You have your Tuesday high. You have your Monday high, which is all the way up here, right? So you got some levels here and there. But to me, this is more than anything, just a channel. Just a massive channel between maybe 10.8 and 11,130. You can see we moved up into it. We rejected off of it. We had the CPI downside, upside, downside. I personally want to see this sort of digest a little bit more before really giving any type of before taking any type of real decisive action. Because to me, when I look at this chart, it's just not great. It's just not. It's a channel, right? Maybe if we can see something like this today, maybe I'll play that. If we get a pullback into that demand and hold it once again, maybe I'll play that. If we just start rocketing out of the gates, maybe I'll try to scalp some momentum, but understanding we're right in the middle of a channel, that's pretty difficult. Guys, it just doesn't seem like the best place right now for the market, especially with earnings coming up. Maybe we'll try to find some scalps today, but I got to be honest, I don't really like where this market is. It's sitting right sort of towards the bottom side of this channel. I don't think there's much conviction here to either direction. So I'll have to see, how do we react off 10.8 today if we pull back? Or, how do we react if we get a pull into 11,130? Do we reject again? So I'm just going to be watching this channel. I'll be watching some short-term stuff. I'll be scalping with the group over voice if I find anything I like. But, larger macro type of idea where this market's going, that's pretty difficult right now. I can sort of see a level here. I would probably watch that around this 11,000 psych level, right? That would probably be my first level to watch because I can see a rejection here. I can see a rejection here. I can see support stepping in here, support stepping in here, and then support stepping in right here. So if we do get an upside push, I will watch this 11,000 zone for potential rejection. But that's just sort of the middle of the channel again. The top side of the channel is most likely up here around 130, 130. So, yeah, that's the NASDAQ. I really don't have, it's Monday morning, right? Monday usually is the day where I take it light and sort of get an idea of where this market wants to head. Because right now, all you're getting is a little demand bounce, nothing crazy off 10.8. It's maybe, what is that, about 1% off of very low volume. So how do you trust this coming into today, right? How do you trust that this is going to either continue or it's going to just nail right back down into that 10.8? There's really no way to fully get a read on where this wants to go at market open. We'll have to wait for market open. We'll have to see how that market looks. Is it showing us strength? Is it showing us weakness? First 10, 15 minutes, get an idea of what it looks like, and then sort of make some educated decisions. So 10.8, 11,130, that's really the levels I'm watching on the NASDAQ. Sort of the same thing here on the ES, right? So ES, this 35.80 level is pretty big. It just continues to hold on to this level. So I'm going to go to the hourly. You guys can see right here. This is the ES over the last just about 3 weeks, and you can see we've basically gone nowhere, right? We've just gone sideways. If you just net out where we've gone since this is the 23rd of September. So if you just net out where we've gone since the 23rd of September, which is going on about a month right now, so about 6 more days until a month, we have gone nowhere, right? We have gone absolutely nowhere. If you net this move out, if you put a mean on this move, the mean of this move is probably right around here, right? If you had to take a mean here, well, let's just take the 50% retracement. Let's do that. So highs to the lows, 50% retracement is right there at 3,700. So the mean of this for the last month, we've been trading, in this zone, pretty give or take. So not much going on in the grand scheme of things. So I would watch this demand down here, 35.85, 35.90, right? You can clearly see that. Big time support, and big time support. You could just call it 3,600. That's sort of the psych level, but it does sort of get a little bit down, a little bit south of 3,600. It moves down to around 35.85, 35.80 before it finds support. So that's what I'd watch on the downside. You guys can clearly see that demand stepped in once again this morning. Once we got into that level, you can see Friday, we just slowly moved into it, right? And you can see maybe, we're sort of holding it slightly this morning. But do I trust this Monday morning pre-market? Do I even dare trust something like this? I'm not personally. That's tough, right? To just trust a creep to the upside in the after hours off of major demand. We'll have to see how this looks at market open. So here's the hourly once again. The next levels that I'm watching on the upside are previous week highs, which is Monday's highs. That's 36.65. I'm going to be watching that. We also found support there. I'll go to the 15-minute. You guys can see right here. Here is Monday's highs, 36.65. You can see we found support there Friday or Thursday, or I guess you can call it Friday pre-market. We pulled back to that Friday pre-market. We held it. So 36.65. After that, I'm going to be watching that 3,700 area. And then the big one above 3,700. Yeah, trust it. Markets will never lay down. You're right, Sierra. Above that 3,700, you got this major 1 hour supply. I'll go to the 1 hour chart. You can see it right here. All right, look at this rejection, 37.35. Look at this rejection, 37.35. So 37.35, that's clearly the big level, right? You can see that major rejection here, major rejection here. So watching that 35.80, 35.85, this is your demand low. And then watching some of these wick rejections from the past, right? Monday's highs. You have this previous rejection here. And then you have this, that's 3,700. Then you have your 37.35. So it's just not a great trend, right, on the market. You really have to this year, or at least this year for sure, which I'm happy about because it's definitely tested my skills. This year has been so much about focusing on where the previous rejection points on the market were. If you don't pay attention to that, right, you're gonna get blindsided so many times. There's no real trend, right? There's just no real trend right now. I mean, the trend is down. Like when I zoom in, right, there's no real trend. Obviously, when you're looking out, right, that's very clear, right? We all know that. The real trend is down. But when you're looking at, over the last month, it's not a trend, right? It's a very sideways market. So you really got to pay attention to these levels of where we've held in the past, where can a sympathy bounce come in, and then where have we rejected in the past, and where we potentially reject again. It's just channel trading, really, right? So it's tough. It's very tough. It's not easy, guys. It was easy when the market was going straight up every day, and we would just, buy any pullback. That was 2020, 2021. But this is not easy trading, and you really need to be in tune with these levels on your chart, and you have to put some trust in them because sometimes they work. They work quite often. So here's your 20 SMA. Thanks for bringing that up, Jay Price. Yeah, 20 SMA on the ES is also at that 3,700. Right, so let's watch out for that. We rejected the 20 SMA here. We rejected the 20 SMA here, right? 20 SMA rejection, 20 SMA rejection. So watch out for that 20 SMA in the daily as well on the S&P 500. All right. So channel trade again on the ES. It sucks to report that again here in the live stream, but we are once again in a channel. It's a start Monday morning. All right, Dow Jones. So the Dow, if I go to the 4-hour chart, here's, this is somewhat of a positive move here on the Dow. This is something that I do sort of like. I just don't know if I trust it yet. But this is pretty nice, right? This is pretty nice. Why do I say that? This is a previous rejection into a pretty nice support level right there. So if the Dow can outperform here, that's what I would watch out for. Dow potentially outperforming slightly. Dow is potentially making a new channel low, right? If this is our previous channel high, can the Dow hold this previous channel high as a support level? And it's also at the 20 SMA. That's something I'd watch for, right? That's right around that 29,700. Does this previous high turn into support at 29.7? That's what I'd be watching on the Dow. Russell. The Russell went up to that channel high, got brutally rejected, right, as we sort of expected at that 20 SMA. Fake pop, right back under. So I would be watching this previous high right here. You guys can see this little channel that the Russell's in. It's been in a channel for a week now. Watch that rejection. Watch this rejection. Watch this rejection. Watch this rejection. And watch out for this rejection again. 1720, 20 SMA. That's what I'd be watching on the Russell to keep an eye out for a potential rejection at 1720. All right. Let's get started with our individual stocks. So you guys know, let me go ahead and delete these. Let's start on the weekly on Tesla. So you guys know we've been sort of looking at Tesla. Let's actually start daily because I've been looking at this one level on Tesla, been sharing it with you guys, saying how I want it to come back to this level, and it's there, right? So this is the daily on Tesla. Been sort of looking at this previous low right back here. The previous low of this candle is 206.86. So let's just call it 206 area, right? Let's draw our little zone here. So I was saying, hey, I think Tesla should come back to this low because I don't see any kind of support here, right? This is a disaster in here. There's no levels here. It's just messy. So let's try to see if we can get that pull back to the low. So you can see today, right? This is the zone that I just drew out. This is sort of where we held on Thursday morning. We pulled back through it on Friday afternoon, and we are opening right above it in the pre-market. So we're right in that zone. If we go back to the daily, you can see the zone that I'm talking about is the lows right here, right? The lows of this candle is where we're sitting at today. If we lose this level, then if we go out to the weekly, maybe it's the 180 level, right? Maybe it's the 180 level that we need to see, right? You can see previous support, 180, and then a push to the upside. So maybe it's the 180, 185 area down here that we need to be looking for as well. We have earnings this week. So, your guess is as good as mine. But when we have earnings, I don't really like to I don't try to guess what's going to happen. The only thing I'm going to look for today, right, on the short term, I'm going to look for either a gap fill, right? This is your potential gap fill on Tesla down to the Friday close, maybe down to 204. I'll look for that gap fill play. You guys can see there's your gap, right, from the pre-market. Or I will look for the break of around this pre-market high. So this is really all I'm going to look for today for the short term, either a break to the upside or a break to the downside of this pre-market channel. Right? That's usually a pretty decent trade opportunity. You either look for, you can look for one of four things, right? You look for the break and hold above, right? You guys know what I'm going to do. Break and hold below, right? Or play the rejection or play the demand bounce, right? This is pretty much solely all I'll be looking for today on Tesla. How does it react in this little pre-market channel that it's trading in, right? So that's what I'm going to look on the short term. For the long term, let's wait for earnings to come out. Let's see where this comes back to. If Tesla comes back to that 180 on earnings, this could be a very nice area to potentially pick up some shares off of. I mean, I'm thinking long term here, right? So it depends on your time frame. But 180, that's probably that could be where we move down to, right? That could be that next level. If we continue to see weakness, this little double bottom at 180 could be your level to watch. All right. Netflix. But again, guys, there's earnings. So please do not ask me what I think is going to happen on earnings. I do not know. All right. I just can't tell you that. I wish I could. Netflix. So Netflix is been in a channel for, we are going on, what are we going on? We're going on 3 months. So Netflix channel trade the last 3 months. Fun stuff, right? But there has been some nice trades in there, right? There's been some nice demand holds and there's been some nice supply rejection. So some nice trades if you trusted the channel on Netflix. Now, tomorrow, we get earnings. And this is going to be interesting, right? We get earnings on Netflix. Did Netflix turn anything around for their company? Did they do anything that investors like? Does Netflix get some positivity off this earnings? And if it does, right, let's go to the daily chart. If it does, do we see some of these gaps get filled in Netflix? Right? Is there a possibility of some kind of upside move on earnings to fill this gap? Is it something that the market likes? Is Netflix doing at least better than expectations? I would assume the expectations for Netflix have came down tremendously. So is there any type of move on Netflix on earnings? We'll have to see. I'm sure the expected move is probably pretty high right now. $26. Yeah, that's huge. Holy crap. Oh, man. Yeah, I would not play Tesla or Netflix earnings. That is a monster implied move. That's 10%. That's more than 10%. Wow. Yeah, expected move on Netflix is over 10% right now. That is very big. So I'd be careful playing Netflix earnings with that type of expected move. But you guys can see we got that 250 rejection. You got that 213 support. You're in a channel. I would do nothing until Netflix comes out, reports earnings, and play the continuation. That would be what I would do here. All right. So watch Netflix for this channel move, either above 250, below 213 on earnings, and play the continuation. Unless you want to, right? What else could you do, right? What's another option, right? Another play that you could do is if you think Netflix stays in this channel on earnings, right? If you think Netflix stays in this channel on earnings, you could run a condor, right? You could run a little condor here on, the upside and the downside. As long as it stays between it, right? You make your money. IV's high as well, so it might be a decent play idea. But just know that if Netflix sort of does do something crazy, that'll be a losing trade, unfortunately. Or, right, the flip side is a straddle or a strangle. You want it to beat the expected move. I would not play a straddle or strangle with a expected move as large as it is. You need a real nice, I mean, you need something big to get that to start to play to make money for you. All right. Target. So this was a sick play. I actually got stopped out of this play because I was sort of taking it short term. I wasn't really trusting it, so I took it short term and had a tight stop. I lost like $70, but this happened very nicely. And Friday, I sort of made my money early on and I walked away. So I sort of missed this target move. But look at that, guys, right? That's just a really nice textbook bear flag breakdown on the 4-hour, right? We've been talking about this every single day on the live stream. Every single day I had target pulled up, 4-hour bear flag, watch this rejection, and I just want to show it. I don't want to show it to you to like put it in your faces. I just want to show it because this is what it looks like, right? This is a pretty textbook setup that you'll see quite often. This is a bear flag, right? Especially in the 4-hour chart, you can see a previous support into a rejection, right? Into a rejection. Into a rejection. We just couldn't get above that 158 multiple times, multiple tests. 1, 2, 3, 4. How many tests, right? Can we not get above it? After seeing that many times, after seeing it reject that many times, right? Look at that downside move. So definitely a nice move there on target. I would look probably for more, to be quite honest here. If I go to the daily chart, I would look for more. I would look for this 138. So I'm going to be watching this myself. If I can get some kind of bounce, I'm going to be watching this 138 area, right? So bear flag, big breakdown on the daily. Look at that daily candle. I would look for 138. This looks very similar to Costco, right? Here's Costco. We talked about Costco on this same thing, right? Bear flag, rejection, rejection, previous support, bear flag breakdown, continuation, right? Costco's still moving lower. So target, very nice initial candle. That's like a kill candle almost. Very nice breakdown. I would look for more here. Bear flag, 4-hour chart. This is actually the daily, but very clean setup. All right. So congrats to anyone that caught that one. That was really good. All right, Amazon. So Amazon for me is like Tesla. To me, Amazon is Tesla right now. I don't think there's any support here on Amazon until this low. 101, 100, right? You can see this triple bottom here. This low that came in, this looks very similar to Tesla for me, right? Here's Tesla. I didn't think there was any support, right, towards this until this low around this 207, 206, right? And Amazon looks the same. It's pretty messy, right? A bunch of mess here until this low. So I would look for Amazon to maybe continue lower here, especially depending on the market, of course. Let me get a little bit more time. So here's Amazon, and what Amazon is doing right now is it looks like it's turning this previous sort of demand area into a rejection area, right? You can see we had previous support around this 112, 113, right? You had support, you had support, you had support. Look at the rejections that are starting to come in, right? Rejections. Every time it starts to push near it, it gets heavy, right? It gets heavy, it gets heavy, it gets heavy again. So it's definitely, sellers seem to be stacking up here and around this 112, 113, where this was previously where buyers were stepping up, right? So that is definitely a clear flip, guys, right? You can clearly see the flip of price action here from buyers holding it up to sellers holding it down. And that is a break and retest. That's basically that's what it is, right? That's the definition of it, right? That's the back end. What actually is a break and retest? It's when buyers are starting to turn into a zone that was previous buyers is starting to turn into a zone where sellers are starting to sell it. So breaking it, right? And you're retesting and you're rejecting it. Previous support into a rejection. That's bearish to me. So if Amazon can't get back over 112, 113, right, this area right here, then I'm thinking, let's test these lows, because I don't know where there would be support here before these lows step in. So if there's any more downside, I'm definitely going to be looking at Amazon towards that 102. All right. Nvidia. That's not Nvidia. That's NCDA. All right. Nvidia hourly. This is pretty much the same type of look here as Amazon. And here's what I'm talking about, right? Look at what Nvidia is doing. So you had previous buyer stepping up, buyer stepping up, buyer stepping up, buyer stepping up, We lost it on CPI. That was sort of a, freak event. Big drop, big pop, right back up. Supply, supply, supply. Right? So previous high rejection, down, rejection, rejection. Right? Now, previous support, previous support, previous support, right? What is it doing now? That support turned into a rejection on Friday. And this pre-market, that support is turning into a rejection. So, what am I looking for here, right? Not very hard, right? I can see that this previous support area from last week has now starting to show rejections and rejections. So, what I'm looking for today, if there's market weakness, does Nvidia reject 114, 115 area, and do I get to play more downside? So that's what I'll be looking for today on Nvidia. Very clean, right? Previous demand into a rejection. That's what I'll be looking for. XLE, I want to share with you guys that XLE rejection that we were sort of talking about. Here's the daily chart on the XLE. You guys can see, look at that candle from Friday. Previous supply, again, again, and again. So I'd be careful going long energy here. I'd probably want to see it break out of this area, right? You can clearly see the sellers that are stepping up in this area, right? Can't ignore it. So a lot of sellers up here on 83, 85. Watch out for that on the energy sector. You can see XOM, pretty much the same thing. Anywhere north of 100 looks pretty difficult. And if we go to CVX, anything around this 165 area looks pretty difficult. So just watch out for that energy rejection up there. Keep an eye on that. XLP is doing nothing. It's just chopping at this major level. Seems to sort of be rejecting it. XLF just sitting in a channel. Here's the XLF, guys, right? Sitting in this channel, doing absolutely nothing. Yeah, we can take a look at Nphase. Nphase is looks good. It did good Friday, right? You guys can see Friday we came right back down. It looks like Nphase, the new level of support, is stepping in around 234.50, right? That's a level that needs to break. 234.50 on Nphase. But again, right, when you zoom out on Nphase, it is still just doing, that downside move, right? This looks to me like it is still very, very on track for a move to 220, right? There's nothing really that makes me think that this is bullish, right? Very much on track to 220. Did I buy calls on Thursday's close? No, I do not do that, right? I don't just guess what the next day is going to happen. All right, so we are now going to go ahead and go over the tickers that you guys want to look at. If you guys could take 1 second, press the like button, that would be great. Could help support the channel on a nice Monday morning. The like button helps a lot. FedEx, IBM, Snapchat, Microsoft. And I'll do Square as well. All right, let's do it. If you guys could press the like button real quick. FedEx, yeah, pretty much the same, as Netflix type thing here. You can see that gap fill. Does it happen? Does it not? Here's what I'll say, guys. This is not the market to be looking for gap fills, right? That's basically what I'm trying to say. That's basically what you have to understand. This is not the market for gap fills to happen. It's just simply not. And that's the problem, right? Back in 2020, you get a gap, right? You fill it, right? The market's strong, so, you get that push, and then buyers are stepping up. Everyone's willing to go for it. Let's buy this baby up. Let's fill that gap, right? It's not the same, right? It's not the same. Technicals may say, hey, there's a gap. Let's look for that gap fill, but there is just not the same. People are not salivating at the opportunities right now, to play something like that. And so it's just the market. It's unfortunately the market. In a market like this, I do not trust this to fill the gap. No. I mean, I would watch for it. This is why, I've looked to see if Netflix would fill this gap for the last 3 months, and it hasn't, right? I've looked for Netflix to get this move going for the last 3 months. I've actually looked for it for the last 6 months. I've been looking for Netflix. When is Netflix going to fill this gap? It's been 6 months now, all right? So maybe it happens. But yeah, I don't know. It's not gonna be. Maybe it happens off earnings, but yeah, it's not the market. IBM, this is a total chop fest, guys. If you're trading IBM, I would recommend not to. The people that buy IBM, they do it for their long-term portfolios. It's not a trading stock. Snapchat's dead. It report earnings. Good luck. You can try to guess it, right? Guys, if I ever get sent a chart that the candles look like this, I will not be looking at it. Okay? Snapchat is a disaster. Good luck. The only reason you put that on there is because you're trying to do an earnings YOLO, and I do not recommend that. All right. 1 hour chart on Microsoft. This was actually something I was looking at this morning. Microsoft had a little double bottom here around 232. I would look to see if 232 turns into support, right? 232. That's what I'm watching today. Previous double bottom support at 232, and I'm going to see if Microsoft can hold that as a support level today. You can see it held it here on Thursday, 232. I'm going to see if it can hold it again. That's something I'm watching for in Microsoft. Square. What's Square up to these days? I barely even look at Square anymore. Block. Yeah, I mean, I think this is what you're talking about, that retest of these lows. It's just a little bit choppy, right? Look at these wicks. I would probably call it 53. So yeah, I'd watch that 53. That's what I'd watch here. Whoever put Square on here, I'd watch 53. Support, support, support. It's a little bit choppy. So, I would watch that 53 and see what happens there if it rejects. That would be my watch. AMD, yeah, AMD's holding that channel low again. So is there a channel low play again on AMD? Maybe, right? That's very possible. Basically, guys, here's what you have to, this is it. It's as easy as this, right? This is human psychology 101. This happens every single time that a stock like this is trading at the demand low. You have to either trust it or you don't, right? You either buy calls today because you've seen over the last 4 times that AMD has bounced off this 56, right? Bounce 56, bounce 56, bounce 56. You're at it again, right? The human mind tells you no, right? You're like, oh, no, I don't like this, right? The human mind said no here. The human mind said no here. Everyone and their mom said we're breaking this rejection here, right? Twitter's breakdown. Oh, you're buying calls, you're an idiot. You're buying calls here, what an idiot you are. And then it bounces off demand, right? So you're either trusting the level, right, or you're not. That's really all you can do here today on AMD, right? You're either looking at the chart and saying, hey, AMD has bounced off 56 for 3 times in a row. It's a clear level that's held, and maybe there's a potential trade off of it again today into 59, right? Maybe there is. That is up for you to decide, right? That's the risk that you have to take. But I would tell you that, okay, it's done it in the past. There is definitely a possibility of it doing it again here, right? So the human mind's going to tell you no, right? It's going to tell you that ain't smart, right? It's going to say, hey, this is not a good place to buy AMD, right? It's low, it's ugly, the market's weak. That's what the human mind said here. That's what the human mind said here. That is what the human mind said here. It said it every single time, and every single time you miss it, right? Because you're just trading with your emotion. So that would be my recommendation. If you see a channel low like that, you got to either take it or you just got to move on from it, right? You either got to accept that, hey, that is the play, or let's just, I'm not roasting people, guys. I'm being passionate about it because it definitely is, it's true, right? You got to be passionate about it. And that is what's happened, right? This is the same thing on snow, right? Snow, right? Demand. No one wanted to buy here, right? No one wanted to buy here. No one wanted to buy here, right? No one. But look what happens. Demand, demand, demand. So maybe it does it again, right? Maybe it does it again. That's that right there. The last 5 minutes of what we just talked about is unfortunately the market that we have to be trading in this year, right? That has been so much of the strategy this year. And it's not easy, right? Myself, I don't take these plays all the time, right? Because I'm talking to myself when I speak to you guys too, right? I'm trying to talk this into myself too. I'm not used to having to trade channel lows and supply rejections all day, right? That's all we've been really, those were the best plays so far this year that I could remember is channel low bounces, demand holds, right? getting those demand holds, trading it when everyone else was looking for puts. And some of my best trades this year were supply rejections on the market, right? When everyone thought there was going to be a breakout, I'm buying puts looking for the supply rejection. So those were some of the best trades I've had this year. And it's not typically a trading style or something I look for in a market, but 2022 has been, that's been the name of this year. It's been channel trades, demand holds, supply rejections, and just rinse and repeat. So look for it again. That's what I'd look for. That's like the most common thing you're seeing right now, okay? All right, guys, that's all I got. I'm going to head over to the chat. If you guys want to join that, if you want to trade live with me on a daily basis, make sure to check that out. Make sure to enter that giveaway. It is down below, right? We're giving away that trading setup, so make sure to join that as well. If you're not familiar with it, go in the description below. It says enter the giveaway. Make sure to do that as well. All right, guys, have a fantastic day. Thanks again for being here. Please know that when I talk, I am passionate. I'm not roasting anyone unless you're being an idiot, right? There's definitely some idiots out there. But I got your best interest in my mind, and that's why I get pretty strict because I don't want to see people make the same mistakes that I did, right? The same mistakes that everyone else did, right? The reason you're here is to try to avoid those mistakes. And if I just, buttercup the market up to you and, make you think that everything's grand and dandy, you're going to make the same mistakes that everyone else did. And I don't want to see that, all right? So, all right, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace out. Have a great day. I'll talk to you later.